Just over a day ago, Hasbro made the announcement they were cutting 20% of their workforce starting in January of 2024. What does this mean to a company this size, and how is management sharing the burden of these job cuts? Because chances are they're getting rid of the wrong people. No matter what term you use, I was laid off, I was fired, I was let go, they restructured. It all means the same thing. You no longer work for that company. Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here. Thanks again for hanging out with me on the channel today. A reminder that if you enjoyed today's content, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. New content every single day of the week. And we are talking about the 20% workforce reduction by Hasbro. Now, a lot of this comes on the heels of what's been going on in the world. There are tons of layoffs happening. Of course, other industries are hiring. So it depends on what field you're working in and what labor shortages other industries are facing. It could be a boon or a bust. And in the case of Hasbro, they had a massive ramp up of production during COVID, where people were just clamoring to buy their toys, get their board games, get things into the kids' hands, as well as even adults playing Magic the Gathering and all those high-tech games we love to play. We were paying through the nose to get these things, which means they needed a bigger workforce. They needed more people out there bringing these games to each and every one of us as consumers. And now, with the downturn in the economy, these are no longer needed. They're no longer desired. And we're back to kind of how we were pre-COVID. Even then, we're down a little bit more from what I've read in all these articles. So what does that mean? Well, it means you've got redundancy. You've got a bloated workforce you no longer need. So you've got to let people go. But who are you letting go? How is the pain being shared by everyone in that company? How are they deciding? Because as a person who works in management, I can tell you, the way you make your decisions, the way you decide to terminate people, to let them go, how it gets shared across the company can have a real impact on how it affects your workforce afterwards. After everything's done and after workers get to see, do I still have a job in the new year? You know, Bobby gets to keep his job, but Daniel lost his job and they were best friends. All that stuff comes into play with how that workforce will now support the management after everything is done. And yes, all kinds of crazy stuff like nepotism gets taken into account. But when you go for management and you look at those people, and when I say, how are they sharing the pain? How is management handling what's going on? Because when we take a look at somebody like Chris Cox, he makes $9.4 million a year. I could just look this up on Google. There it was. 9.4 million. Yes, his salary is kind of small, but his bonuses and stock options are massive. Okay? That means it is in Chris Cox's best interests to make sure the shareholders keep getting paid their dividends, that the company stays lean and mean and profitable. It's in his best interest. So he's going to do whatever it takes. He's going to step on whoever he has to, right? Or does he have to? How about the next person I'm going to show you? How about Cynthia Williams? Well, Cynthia, remember her? She's the head of Wizards of the Coast and Digital Gaming. She comes from Amazon, and her salary is $6.5 million a year. Yes, her salary is only $785, and she's got bonuses and stock options, just like Chris, okay? Like a smaller carbon copy of Chris. But together, that's $15 million. Right there. Of salary for a company. So how do you think your average worker feels looking at that as they're being let go? Well, bigger companies, when they make announcements for layoffs, you know what they often do? If they're a conscientious company, they'll say, we're not taking stock options. We're not taking our bonuses. We're going to cut our salaries until we get this company back on track, until we can hire back some of these loyal employees who have been with the company. Because when they don't make those kind of statements and show that they are going to share the pain with the employees, Even if it's only kind of a tokenism of saying, hey, I'm going to keep my job, but I'm going to take a pay cut to show you I'm with it, in it with you. When they're that far removed and don't make those announcements, usually your workers don't want to support you anymore. They feel you've left them behind. Now, for most of us, looking at those salaries, the average person on the street, let's face it, guys. Would you take that salary and work there? Of course you would. So would I. Cynthia Williams, $6.5 million. Yeah, I could do that job. I'll figure it out. That's what most of us think. But the other part of you guys just say, fire them. Hire somebody else. You fired the wrong person. Chris Cox shouldn't be the CEO. He got in because COVID was there. And everything was ramping up and getting all crazy. And it looked good on the books. And it was because of him that Magic was doing so well. So they elevated him to the CEO position, right? That's how a lot of people feel he got there. How about Cynthia Williams? Most people don't like her after that whole earnings call chat where she talked about Wizards of the Coast and kind of read from a Wikipedia page. It didn't look good. I agree. I'd like to see her gone too. I don't like how she's handled things. As a player, as a person looking at it from the outside, in my opinion, she's got to go. How many jobs would that save if they were gone? Or you got a younger, hungrier person with new ideas into those positions that cost 1/10 as much? Because if you look up what an average CEO of this company's size makes, it says that's what they make. That's the average. Okay, that's the average. But is that a U.S. average for people working? Is that a convenience store guy's in salary? I don't think so. Is that the local dry cleaner salary? How about the taxi cab drivers? You making 9 point. The average doesn't mean anything to the person looking up and seeing that, and now they're losing their job. I told you, optics can be everything. I don't think that they handled this well. I don't think when they put that press release together, I think they should have made a little more of a statement than just saying stronger headwinds than we expected. And we're going to have to let these people go. Because we know they've been slimming it down since last year at the earnings call. They've been clearing warehouse room. They've been cutting back on some of the productions. They don't have as much stuff sitting on the shelves. They've been ramping down. They knew they were doing it. Yes, the job cuts are the last thing. And I'm not saying all these job cuts aren't necessary. Some of them are probably very necessary. If you're not putting out 100,000 board games and you need 100 employees to do it, and you're only putting out a quarter of that, yes, you need less employees. I get that. But I hope they are making that pain shared across the board. I hope they're not keeping it like bureaucracy heavy at the top. Because I don't think the average convenience store person wants to pay more for Magic knowing that they cut the workforce, slimmed down their product lines, did everything they could to make more profits for the company. And then you still charge me more money. How does that feel as a Magic player? They've done all these cost-cutting measures and they threw people out of their jobs so they could keep their bonuses, keep their stock options, and make Magic more expensive, because that's how we view it as players. That's how we view it from the outside looking down on them in their ivory tower. That's how we look at it. That's how I look at it. In my opinion, that's how I see things. And as a lower middle management person, if you don't make it known that you share the pain of the people around you, if you don't let them know that you are not above what they're going through, the optics are never good. It never settles well with employees, and they never look at you the same way. And you can say, I don't care how they look at me. You're right. You don't have to care at how they look at you, Chris or Cynthia. But those same people may not work as hard for you. They may make more mistakes. They may put in less time and effort because they feel like you don't care. There's a real difference there. Optics can be everything. And going forward, the workforce that does make it through these cuts, the ones that are left, and depending on where they are and which departments they get let go from, you could see a whole changeover of the attitudes of those employees. Especially if some of their best friends get let go and can't find new jobs. And they're sleeping on their couch. Like, it can go a really long way because you don't know, and I don't know, honestly, how it's all being handled. We have no clue. This is pie in the sky, but I can only talk from personal experience. I am that person who hires people. I am that person who's had to let people go. And I know the optics. I know how it is. And if you're not willing to understand what's going on with your employees, if you're not willing to say, yeah, they're my coworkers too. Like, these are people who I rely on and who make me look good to the upper management because they work hard for me. As soon as you think you're above that, you've already lost. And that's the problem we're seeing with big companies like this. I'm not that big guy. You're not that big guy probably where you are right now watching this video. But the optics we see are probably the same or pretty close to it. I see expensive Magic products. I see product lines getting cut and slimmed down. I see rising prices across the board on all kinds of even board games I remember as a kid. Yeah, inflation hits us all. And you still got your stock options and bonuses, and you got increases. It just doesn't look good. Either way, I want to know what you guys think. I want your opinions on this. I want you guys to slam some comments down. Do you think they did it right? Could they have done a little bit better? What would you switch up? And would you fire Chris? Would you fire Cynthia? I gotta know. Put those comments in the comment section. Thanks again for stopping by the channel. Thank you for waiting for me to put this video out. I had another video, as you guys know, yesterday's one was already in the books. I was already getting things ready. And when this announcement and stuff came out, it took me a while to gather and read everything to make a video I thought that was worthy of putting out. So thanks again for sticking by. And for those people who emailed, I hope you guys enjoyed my opinion on this. I look forward to seeing you guys later. Thanks a lot for stopping by. We'll see you tomorrow for another video. Hey guys, a big shout out and thank you to my fantastic patrons, to my supporters of this channel, to my YouTube membership members. Those patrons, you guys, you make these videos possible every day. Thanks again for that support. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have an awesome day. Well, you're here at the end of the Ramble Jamble. You've made it. You're that 1% who make it all the way through. Thanks a lot for being here, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Kind of crazy we made it to the end, isn't it? I mean, I'm out of coffee, I'll be honest. By the way, somebody asked me why I always use the same coffee mug, especially since I don't work at talk radio. But here it is, guys. This coffee mug is not broken. I'm not going to waste money buying new coffee mugs just because they look pretty. It's a functional coffee mug. I'm going to keep using this coffee mug. And that way I don't need another one. Too many times we buy knickknacks and stuff we don't really need, you know? You realize that sometimes. Now back to this Chris Cox thing. I hope he realizes. I hope he does. I hope he's not too far above that he forgets how it impacts people when these things go along. And I hope the cuts were absolutely necessary to make things more streamlined and better for everyone and stabilize pricing. I don't think it will, but that's just because I'm looking at it from that cynical point right now. I'm hoping I'm wrong. But when you've got stock options and bonuses and the millions of dollars a year, most people are pretty self-serving. And they kind of forget where they came from and who got them there. And I just think that's never good. You never can forget where you were. I remember when I had 10 subs. And if I ever forget that, somebody send me some really rotten nachos and cheese and just say, Moxman, what are you doing? Guys, have a great day. Thanks for stopping by the channel. You made it to the end of the Ramble Jamble. Now tidy up after yourselves. I'll see you guys tomorrow.